Alright. I'll be honest with y'all. I actually spent like 10 minutes recording this game earlier, and Bandicam decided, you know what, fuck you. Files get corrupted, so I have to say I actually kind of already know what happens, like, for a little bit, and I'm a little mad. But I decided, you know what, I need to go, or I need to keep going anyway, so I'm just gonna do it. I'm recording this with OBS now, so hopefully this doesn't film me either. So, there's no continue button. I just decided to quit. Actually, oh, new game, there you go. Yeah, whatever. So, slowly swaying inside a subway car, which was packed despite the late hour, he came to a realization. A rather scary one, come to think of it. I have nothing left besides my job. This gloomy thought didn't faze him, however. He was too tired to get emotional. A long time ago, when he was little, he found a great way to deal with bad thoughts. He would imagine a bad thought was a bubble above his head, like in a comic book, that would disappear in the next panel. Maybe you should try that now? But the harder he tried to imagine a bubble, the more memories came crashing in. His wife, his son, about the time when he was happy. To hell with it. He sighed heavily and tried to lean more comfortably against the steel bar he was holding onto. He started to feel drowsy, and soon, familiar images were once again floating before him. And I got flashbanged again. Wait. Oh, I can do that. So the wife's like behind a bunch of static. So yeah, a conversation with Yuko. She isn't screaming, but he can feel her anger. She's tense and upset. By the way, I already called her wife because, like I said, I recorded this earlier and yeah, I know everything. I'm upset. So I'm sorry if I read 90% of this now in like a monotone voice. I genuinely am upset, but I still had to go. So she said, "You never spend time with Akira. Always coming home past midnight." He used to come up with excuses. He'd admit he was guilty and promised to do better. But he never could, and they would argue again and again. Finally, he was fed up with always feeling guilty. "Shut up. Don't you understand who I'm doing this all for?" He remembers the fury welling up inside of him. He remembers the tears that welling up in his wife's eyes. He remembers the words that brought it all down. "I should have never married you." Alright, so stupid. You never realize how much pain you've caused until there's no going back. He sighed. He needed a distraction before the sadness consumed him. Karoshi. That word suddenly popped into his head. It'll kill me. I wonder if she'd come to my funeral. Maybe she'd bring my son. He felt the rush of cold air as the doors opened and realized the train had arrived at another station. He knew the seat next to him was about to be occupied by another tired person who, for some reason, was on their way to the suburbs at 10 p.m. But they did. He heard the clicking heels of a woman. A woman sat down nearby. Yeah, I don't know why I said a woman twice, but yeah. He wanted to look at her. He opened his eyes. Yeah, there's that shot. Something was off about her. He could feel it. Something in her look, in her eyes. Something vague but insanely familiar.
Well, hi,
There she is. I'm gonna screenshot that. Again. Then he realized it. Or rather, he felt it. He wouldn't have been able to explain it had somebody asked. He just felt it with his whole body. He knew. This gray-haired woman in a business suit wanted to die. Yeah. My Summer Adventure, Memories of Another Life, Day 1. Which, like they said on the page, it's a demo. So, I'm certain the full game's out there somewhere, and I believe it, obviously, it's paid or something. Yeah. Kyoko Shihane only felt safe when she was close to home. That weird man on the subway had stared at her for almost the entire journey. It wasn't the look of a person curious about her gray hair. The man looked at Kyoko with sadness and worry in his eyes, as if he'd been concerned for her. That look had completely soured her mood. The entrance to her building shone like a torch in the darkness, so bright and overpowering. But the effect was instantly noticeable when you stepped onto the stairs. The warm light enveloped you, filling you with a sense of serenity. This is your home after all. This is where you should feel comfortable. But the magic of the light held nothing for Kyoko. Apathetically, she walked through the lobby and called the elevator. Her apartment was on the 26th floor. It was a huge place with panoramic windows that seemed to overlook the whole city. Its millions of lights, like a swarm of fireflies, always mesmerized Kyoko. It's those lights that kept Kyoko from leaving her apartment. At night, surrounded by darkness, she would gaze at those lights and feel she wasn't alone. She was surrounded by people, countless people. Each of them had their own story, their own problems. Perhaps, some of them were even happy. She took off her shoes and went inside. The ringing silence was becoming unbearable. She found a TV remote on a chair. The 7th channel was playing a familiar movie. Only when the noise from the TV filled the room did Kyoko finally begin to calm down. It had become a routine. Turn on the lights, drool in front of the TV. Chuckling to herself, she started to change. She took off everything but her underwear and t-shirt and, carefully crossing the floor in her bare feet, stepped to the kitchen where she kept her cigarettes. Smoking was also a routine, or rather, a ritual. One of the many that seemed to make up her life these days. Since you're all alone, keep busy through the day so you never have time to think. The advice she'd been given once. So now she was going to have a smoke, then make some dinner, then spend the rest of the night working. The less you think, the better. Thoughts can kill. But life had other plans. Her attention was drawn to a book on the coffee table. It looked like a regular black notebook that you could buy anywhere. But something bothered Kyoko. This evening was getting more and more strange. First, that man on the subway, now this. Where did it come from? She never had a notebook like this. She hadn't kept any of her ex-husband's things around. Could the maid have left it? Accepting this as a most likely explanation, Kyoko picked up the notebook and opened it at the bookmark. She immediately wanted to throw it away. It was her ex-husband's handwriting. It was his notebook. Tears welled up in her eyes. The memories washed over her. Leave me alone. With all her strength, Kyoko threw the notebook as hard as she could. She hated it. She hated her ex. She hated herself for her weakness. Her desire to smoke turned into a vital necessity. She went through 3 cigarettes, one after another, almost without noticing. Finally, she began to calm down. It's just a notebook after all. Kyoko immediately realized she was lying to herself. Of course it wasn't just a notebook. It was a reminder, a blinding and unexpected one. In a split second it brought down all her barriers, and invaded all of her thoughts. Kyoko knew that trying to read it would only cause her pain. Am I not already hurting enough? That simple question exploded like a bomb, shattering her will to resist. It's too late to be weary of pain. Kyoko knew it the moment she recognized his handwriting. Whatever she did, the result would be the same. Pain. Kyoko had made up her mind. She put the cigarette out in the ashtray and, clenching her fists, walked towards the notebook. It was still on the floor, its white pages shining. She carefully picked it up and sat down on the couch. It was definitely his handwriting. She would never fail to recognize it. Alright. Bad handwriting's a sign of intelligence, you know? Well, then you must be some kind of genius. With every memory, she could picture him all the more clearly. She could practically see his eyes, those big eyes and that mischievous squint. She could see his smile. She could hear his voice. Are you praising me or scolding me now? Yes. Kyoko wiped away her tears and put the notebook away. She would read it, whatever it took. But she probably needed tissues first. Alright. Journal entry time. September 9th, 4:30 p.m. Dark clouds are dropping a torrent onto the city, and I can't help but worry if my Kyoko got caught in the rain. She took an umbrella with her, of course, but with this, the wind drops are practically falling horizontally. So what good would it do? I should probably run a bath for her. She'll definitely want to get warm when she's back. So here I am again. All the tasks are done, all the odd jobs. The lights are out in the apartments, except the lamp on my desk. The rain keeps hammering against the glass. I'm glad to be out of the dark and the cold. A small circle of light with my notebook. I love this feeling. Since I was in school, I've always found something magical about these moments. The streets are already dark, and I'm sitting by the lamp, scribbling away at my homework. Maybe it's my version of sitting by the campfire. Or just a personal quirk. Everyone has one after all. Damn, I'm losing my train of thought again. Lately, I've been trailing off pretty often. I should get down to business. I've written a whole page already, and still made 0 progress. My name is Maksim Laas. I'm 30 years old. I live in Tokyo with my wonderful wife, Shihane Kyoko. We've been married for 5 years. As for how we met... No, wait. The way our relationship started was absolutely bizarre. I'm not kidding. It was truly fantastical. Like something from a romance novel. I think there's a whole separate genre about this kind of thing already. In short, I transferred myself to another body. How did I do that? I have no idea. Some cosmic miracle of the universe? Maybe Mercury was in retrograde. I can't say we've ever tried to make sense of it. No one could gift horse in the mouth, as they say. We deliberately chose not to ask questions. At first, we tried talking about it, but those conversations just went nowhere. Then we gave up. We had other things to deal with rather than waste our time trying to explain the unexplainable. For everyone else, we came up with some story about how we met online, got together and fell in love. Eventually, that lie eclipsed the truth. As if it was a dream, and I never discovered myself in the body of a young Japanese man. It's more proof that magic has no place in the real world. It's confined to books and TV. But this was a true story. It actually happened. And that's why I'm sitting here writing this down. Because I think it's important that I tell the story. I showed the world about my magical summer 5 years ago. I think I'll call this mess my summer adventure. Kyoko looked away from the page. She felt danger. It was like her ex-husband was pulling her into the dark and uncomfortable unknown. She never liked their conversations about the paranormal. She would have given a lot to have actually met her husband online, like normal people do. But whatever happened, happened. Since it had been so important to him. Kyoko sighed deeply and continued reading. Alright, so September 10th, 10 a.m. Rereading what I wrote yesterday makes me think I was drunk. I have no idea how I managed to fall into such melancholy. Well, actually I do. It's because of the rain. It makes me emotional. No more writing in bad weather. Anyway, I should get down to business after all. It's already been 3 pages of pointless ranting. Bravo, Max. So, my story begins on July 17th, 2018 in the city of Tallinn. I was 25, and to be honest, I wasn't in the best shape. Somebody once told me, life is like a zebra. There's a white stripe, then a black one, white, black, white, black. I was definitely in a black stripe at that point in my life. And it was all because of a girl named Polina. Specifically, the fact that she dumped me. Doesn't sound like that big of a deal. It happens every day. People meet each other, get separated, get married, get divorced. They take out mortgages, have children, abandon them. Plenty of people have been through it. But it hit me hard. I'm ashamed to admit, I couldn't let Paulina go. I lost any pride I had, and any sense with it. I kept going to her house with flowers. I waited for her by her office. I drew sentimental crap on the ground under her windows. In short, I was making my ex's life miserable. My life, in turn, lost all of its color and meaning. I felt no joy. I didn't care about anyone. I actually quit my job just so I could wallow in my sadness. Basically, it was the same old story you probably heard before. I spent about 6 months like this. Then suddenly, something snapped me out of that emotional coma. And what was it? Just another classic story. It started when I fell asleep on the train. Yeah, so this part I would theorize, like, what we saw in the intro, you know, like, the guy falling asleep on the train and whatnot. That was essentially this guy, but I guess he, like, woke up in another body. So yeah, chapter 1. If you don't adapt, you die. If you don't die, you adapt. Alright, so when I woke up, I had one question floating in my mind. Where the hell am I? I knew I'd fallen asleep in a train car, but that wasn't where I woke up. Did they kick me off the train? Why don't I remember that? And what station is this? I had no time to look around, though. I heard somebody's voice. Are you okay? I turned around to see who was talking. It was a pleasant surprise. A pretty blonde girl was looking over me.
Hi, how are you?
There she is. She was slim, well-dressed, with blue eyes. Exactly my type. I also liked the fact she was looking at me. She did seem a bit worried, though. Akira-kun? She said and touched my shoulder. And that's when I blacked out. Oh. Akira-kun! While my written self was lying unconscious, let's dot the I's and cross the T's. I don't normally black out when a pretty girl touches me. I don't idolize women and don't think they're some greater beings. Honestly, I have a black belt in arm touching. I I touched women's arms, men's arms, dog's paws, cat's paws, raccoon's paws, and even parrot's feet. It's a long story. Just thought the touch of my future wife, actually spoiler alert, kind of became the magic touch for me. Only not in a good way. The thing was, a number of things actually happened between the moment she touched me and the moment I blacked out. I looked down at where she touched me and made a few discoveries. The clothes weren't mine. The arm protruding from those clothes wasn't mine either. How did I know? Because of the fingers. They were like sausages. I'd never had such fat fingers. These were the fingers of an obese man. I also never owned a jacket like the one I was wearing. I sure as hell never had a gut like the one it was failing to hide. I began to panic. What the hell was happening? How? I had to look at myself in the mirror. I started looking and I saw my reflection in the train window. That's what he looks like. In that reflection, I saw a shaggy 20-something guy. So, that's what happened. Now, let's continue. When I finally came to, I found myself sitting on a bench. A blonde girl was standing beside me, handing me a bottle of water. Here you go. I hope I didn't fall on her. Could have easily crushed her. Wash your face. She think I have a heat stroke? My head actually did feel like it was on fire. I opened the bottle and poured it over my head. I felt a bit better. Calmer. You need me to call an ambulance? I should say, I've never liked doctors. A long time ago, one of them made a mistake that my family paid for. Since then, even the mention of an ambulance puts my hackles up. So I replied without thinking, no, don't. I'm fine. Are you sure? Yes. There was an awkward pause. Then should we go? She asked hesitantly. Oh, where? I asked, confused. To the university. She replied, equally confused. To the university? I replied, repeated, even more confused. She decided to put an end to the back and forth thing and just nodded. Okay, let's go then, I replied. And so we did. Yeah, okay, so this is actually where I left. This is actually where I left off in the recording. Like, got to this part and then Bandicam decided to crash, and then all my files got corrupted for that. So I don't know about everyone else, but I have this one mental quirk. I call it my shock absorber. It's a kind of stupor that hits me whenever I'm addressed by a person I don't know that well, like a colleague. Realizing that somebody isn't there to just say hi and leave, but actually wants something from me, makes a little voice in my head start screaming. So for a few seconds, my brain just shuts off. And only afterwards do I snap out of it and start actually thinking things through. Shock absorber. Well, at the very moment my shock absorber was doing its thing, with full support of my appendages. For about 10 minutes, I just walked behind this girl, looking around. After a while, I felt a light burning sensation in my head. I realized it was my ability to think coming back. It was coming back slowly, painfully, pushing aside the last bit of hope I had that I was dreaming. But since I wasn't waking up, I had to start thinking about the mess I was apparently in. I decided to start with, where the hell am I? Definitely not in Estonia. Where then? Skyscrapers didn't tell me anything. Plenty of cities had them. I noticed the people around me appeared to be East, maybe Southeast Asian. I'm not an expert though. Could I be in Japan? China? Singapore? The Philippines? No, I'm kidding. Before long, we came onto a street that had some signs. Finally. I looked carefully. Everything in Japanese. What the? Funnily enough, I could easily read what they said. This was when I really started to crack. How could I read a language and not know what it was? It was some kind of farce. That was a farce. I mean, come on. Yeah, chotto mate. Maybe I knew something about the guy who used to be in a sack of fat. I tried to think of the guy's last name or address, but nothing was coming to me. I didn't know anything about the girl walking next to me either. Basically, the only thing I knew was the language. I mean, she did call you Akira, so that might be your first name. I was beginning to panic. The unexplainable kept raining down on me, and I was finally starting to drown. I stopped believing in what was happening to me. Couldn't be true. It just couldn't. And I looked at my hands again, then at my reflection. No explanation was coming up. I stopped and closed my eyes. What do I do here? How do I survive? I don't know anything, but if you close your eyes... No, that's enough. I took a deep breath. A deep breath is nature's sedative. When you're nervous, just take a deep breath and hold it. The oxygen will enter your bloodstream and reach your brain. Kinda like that. I heard a YouTube business say that once. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. Deep breath. After all, they won't let me die here. A civilized 21st century country. They'd say I have amnesia. This was an inconvenient option, but a pretty safe one. I'd have to stay in a hospital and meet this guy's parents, but I'd survive. Thought made me feel a little bit better. I had a plan B at least. Akira-kun, are you not feeling well again? Maybe I should walk you home. She was standing next to me, with a genuinely worried look on her face. She was concerned about me. Kind of ashamed to admit it, but it was her face and her willingness to help me that made me put off the amnesia story for a bit. I'll always have time to go to the hospital. No. Yeah, I'm pretty dojo-boo. Let's go. Are you sure? Uh-huh. Of course, she didn't believe me. But still, she turned around and continued walking. I didn't ask for more. We walked the rest of the way to the university. Alright. What do we got now? We're on this side of the town. While walking, I was trying to strategically analyze all the data I had. She called me Akira-kun. Kun. I knew what it meant once. Of course, it's a Japanese honorific. I have to be in Japan. Yes. Yatta. Sorry. Today, I find it rather funny how happy I was just to know what country I was in. Must have been a stress. I'm really that emotional in my everyday life. Even close to payday, or when I unlock something cool in a mobile game. But at that moment, I was practically glowing with pride of my mental aptitude, even if no one else could see it. I couldn't rest on my laurels for too long though. Detective Laas had another mystery to untangle. Look, it's her. Akira-kun. Reach out. Akira-kun? Oh, what the fuck? Akira-kun! Wake up! Sorry, I don't know, I was trying to like screen share multiple times. So is Akira the first name or last name? Yeah, your name's Akira. I knew it was Japanese and could be difficult to figure. Not only do we put the last name first, but the names themselves can be quite confusing. I recalled a colleague asking me once, who is Suzuka Madoka? Which could it be? Back then I thought Madoka was a girl's last name. I'd made two mistakes with that one. One, Madoka was the first name, and two, it was a guy. Well, as I said, quite confusing. Went on with my analysis. She addressed me as Kun. This is a friendly honorific. A formal would be San. So if it's friendly, Kira's probably the first name. The other version would be Chan. Probably. Only Chan. Anyway. Otherwise, why would she use an informal honorific with a last name? So, Akira is my first name. A bit later, I remembered something else that confirmed my guess. I recalled a video game with a Japanese protagonist named Akira. Arigato, video games! So I just needed to figure out my last name. Then I had another breakthrough and started searching through the pockets of my jackets, looking for some sort of ID. But there was nothing. I only found a wallet with some yen. Well, at least I had further proof I was in Japan. I wanted to look through my backpack, but the blonde girl suddenly turned a corner and started walking towards one of the skyscrapers. It had a sign with large letters that read, Torrido. That must have been a university. Impressive. Compared to our universities, located in old kindergarten and school buildings, this was mind-blowing. But my surprise was quickly replaced with panic. How do I enter without a student ID? Still, I kept following the girl, who didn't seem concerned at all. What the hell could that mean? Maybe I don't need an ID? Sure, like they just let anyone in. Any second now, we're going to reach the doors. She'll pull out her ID and walk in, and I'll be stopped by security. I kept following her anyway. We were just by the doors. We're getting closer. Closer. Oh, damn. Everything was much simpler than I expected. There was no security in sight. The girl approached the sliding glass doors, pushed a special key into one of the keyholes on the wall, and voila! The doors opened. Whoa. Okay, that was a weird spin. Really? That easy? So I don't need an ID? Huh, and here I was worried. Whoa. Yes. Yeah, is this a university? It looks like a mall. The inside of the building looked more like some kind of business center. There were escalators, cutting-edge transparent elevators, and lecture theaters with glass walls. There were even a few stores and cafes. I couldn't stop gazing around. Despite everything, I kept following the girl like an obedient puppy. We walked through the lobby, entered an elevator, and went up to the third floor. She went out and I went out after her. Then something I hadn't been expecting happened. Akira-kun, where are you going? Needless to say, her question caught me off guard. And that's putting it mildly. Thankfully, I had enough sense not just to say, I'm just following you. Shocked as I was, I figured she'd just reply with, why? And I definitely wouldn't have an answer for that. You're on the 5th floor. Oh, thanks, or I decided to see you out. Oh, thanks. Oh, really? Thanks. That's all I could think of. She didn't find it weird, thank God. You have a pretty nonchalant reply. Girl smiled and said, it's nothing. Good luck, Akira-kun. Likewise, ya gambare. I mumbled and she left. I just stood there feeling embarrassed and scared, wondering where I was supposed to go. Wasn't really panicking, just worried. Oh, Akira-kun, you should be ashamed of yourself. The music. Turned around and saw a new girl. Whoa! Oh my god, purple hair. She was pretty. Nani? If I didn't know any better, Akira-kun, I'd assume you were a maniac planning to attack Shihane-san. I think my jaw actually dropped. Is she insane? I had no time to ask her that. Akira-kun, stop giving me that weird look. If I think you're getting any ideas, I'm not afraid to strike first. But I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to attend classes with a broken leg. She's definitely insane. Lost all our marbles. Oh, Neil. I said nothing and turned around to call the elevator. Akira-kun, how about you stop being so lazy and we walk to the lecture hall? Oh. What the hell do you need from me? I wanted to scream. Oh, but I didn't. We walked to the lecture hall. So I'm in the same class as this lunatic? Well, that's just great. And again, she can show me where to go. Alright, let's walk, I replied. I'm happy to hear that, Akira-kun, she said and went on. What a weird girl. We entered the lecture hall and I sat at the desk at the far end. This was like just a normal classroom. Well, to be fair, it's still kind of reminiscent of what, you know, the college rooms look like here. My latest supervisor looked at me curiously. Oh, Akira-kun, should I call a doctor for you? Eh? Nani? Nande? You didn't choose your usual seat, Akira-kun. I assume you're sick. Where is my usual seat? I asked with a tinge of irritation. Akira-kun, you're starting to worry me. Did you stay up too late watching adult content?
What the fuck?
Remember that tinge of irritation I mentioned? It grew a bit stronger and I got a temptation to hit her with something heavy more than once. Can you just answer normally without joking around? Joking around? Akira-kun, my speech is concentrated truth of the highest order. I'd never be caught partaking in jokes or any other silliness. But I admit, you're right, and I still haven't answered your question. Well, Akira-kun, your usual seat is right there, in front of the sensei. She pointed at the desk at the very front. Arigato. It's nothing, Akira-kun. If your porn-induced amnesia persists, you can always ask me for persistence. Definitely. Bye. I said, showing my disinterest, started digging around my backpack. She can take a hint, right? Apparently not. When I straightened myself, she was still standing in front of me. Akira-kun, I showed you kindness, but you didn't reciprocate. I'd like you to answer my question as well. I thought for a bit and recalled what she meant. No, I don't need a doctor. Very well, Akira-kun. I'm satisfied. Adios.
Bye, have a great time.
Confused doesn't even begin to describe what I was feeling. She has to be crazy. What does she have in it for me? What kind of relationship did she and this guy have? Definitely a weird one. That moment, the hall quieted. I don't know. The hall quieted down, and I could see the professor in our doorway. Oh yeah, it's this boy. I wanted to stand up out of habit, but stopped myself. Everyone remained seated. Seems like that isn't the custom here. Once the professor entered, some girl approached him and handed him a sheet of paper. Whoa, this chick. Oh, yo. Let's take a screenshot of that. A list of absentees, I guess. Where was Kojima? I barely managed to stifle a laugh. Kojima? Like the games with the snake and the cardboard boxes? Man, what a lucky last name. There he is. The girl said, pointing at me. Oh, Akira Kojima, there you go. I groaned. Not only was I inside some fatty, my last name was Kojima. But I don't deserve this. Why couldn't I have been transported into the body of a good-looking ladies' man? I noticed everyone looking at me. The hell? What are you staring at? Never seen a person changing seats? Why aren't you in your seat? I felt like sitting somewhere else, I replied, displeased. I immediately realized I made a mistake. Surprised look changed. Wait, that surprised looks changed to downright bewildered ones. Damn, that must be considered unacceptable here. Gomenasorry, I muttered. It's fine, the professor replied. Alright, let's begin the class. Looks like I'm in the clear. Everyone finally turned away. The professor wrote the topic of the lecture on the board. Distinct features of the 19th century European architecture. Whoa. The kid is learning to be an architect. Who would have thought? I didn't care about the lecture, though. I opened a notebook and started writing down everything I knew about myself. My name is Akira Kojima. Judging by my appearance, I'm 20 to 21 years old. I attend the University of Toledo, seemingly studying to be an architect or an engineer. Why not both? That's it. Where do I live? What's my money situation? Where are my friends and relatives? Do I have any? If so, how do I contact them? Contact. The answer was so simple I almost slapped myself. My cell phone, of course, because you used to call me on my cell phone. It must have a contact list, surely. Trying to keep it quiet, I started patting my pockets. I located a stylish smartphone in a red case, in a pocket of my jacket. And some keys with it. So stupid. Who carries keys with their phone? They'll scratch the screen. With that, I tapped my phone, and a moment later I wanted to throw it out the window. Can you guess why? Yes, it had a passcode.
You stupid.
Ah! Oh. Wait, an untranslatable and witty play on words using local idiomatic expressions. I don't know if the real Akira Kojima could hear me somehow, but I hope his bears are burning. I hope they're burning clean off. Because I was cursing him in ways you wouldn't find in a dictionary of obscenities. I was screwed. Couldn't contact my friends or relatives or ask them for help. I couldn't Google my house. I can't do anything. Damn it. I can't even tell anyone about my amnesia. No. Screw it. I know about the university. If I talk about being an amnesiac here, they'll help. If so, it's okay. I took a deep breath, trying to push away the fear. I can't stay at the university forever, though. I have to find out where I live. But how? If I asked the administration, I'll have to admit I'm an amnesiac right away. Then it hit me. Oh, wait, her. Maybe I should walk you home. Alright. So she knows where I live. Or did she mean show me the way, I'll help you get there? How do I find out? Well, I can't. I'll have to ask. So this leads us to another problem. How do I do that? I don't even know where she went. Wander around, look through every lecture hall in this floor. This place is huge, it would take me hours, and she'd be gone by then, or before then. Do I have any other options? I scratched my head for several painful minutes, but couldn't think of anything. It seemed my brain had decided it had worked enough for one day and shut down. Well, not quite true. I could think of one thing, but I didn't like it at all. I turned to look at that weird girl. She was sitting with her back straight and listening intently to the professor. Wouldn't have guessed she was so diligent. In short, my only idea was to talk to her during the break and ask her about that blonde girl. She did see me walk the blonde away, even said her name. What was it? Shirahane? I think it was Shihane.
Correct!
If I didn't know any better, I'd assume you're a maniac planning to attack, Shihane-san. Damn. Okay, I should just walk up to her, ask the question, and leave. No funny business. Be a man. Hell, why am I so nervous? Waited for the bell to ring, then took a deep breath and clenching my fist, marched towards her. I was mentally checking everything inside my brain, like a fighter pilot getting ready for takeoff. I'll be just as swift and precise. I was in a bad mood and I wasn't a fan of this girl, so no wonder I had a face on as I approached her. She didn't miss it. Akira-kun, if you're mad, you should think before you act. Minor revenge isn't worth a fine and... wait, incarceration? I have to admit, that was the last straw. Now I really wanted to strangle her, goddamn. Just a little. I have to ask you something. Said as harshly as possible. Really? What's that? Do you have Shirahane's number?
Who?
No. Damn. What do I do now? First of all, I don't know any Shirahane-san. Damn. Chotto mate. But you said her name when we went by the over. Yeah, it's Shihane. I assume you're referring to Shihane-san. There you go. The poor girl you're planning to stalk. I'm not To hell with it. Yes, her. Shirahane. Or yeah, Shihane-Shirahane. What's the difference? What is it? Like 2-letter difference? I have her number, Akira-kun, but I don't want to give it to you. I can't be sure of your intentions. My desire to strangle her grew stronger. Alright, let me call her from your phone. And why would I do that, Akira-kun? Because otherwise I'm going to take your phone by force and throw it out the window when I'm done. Damn. I'll buy you a candy bar. Akira-kun, do you really think I'm so shallow I can be bought with a candy bar? I'll pay for your lunch. 2 candy bars. 4, Akira-kun, and a lavender latte. That moment I was ready to promise her the freaking moon. Deal. She took out her phone, tapped the screen a few times, and handed it to me. Japanese characters on the screen said... Shirahane. Something. Oh, okay. Memories of Another Life, my summer adventure day 1. So Shihane Kyoko-san was kind enough to meet me after class. So a couple hours later, I was waiting for her on a bench. I was sad. I searched through my backpack and pockets, but couldn't find anything useful. I knew my name and country. The cards and keys I found didn't tell me anything. I sighed and tried to focus on something else. The sun was mercilessly hot. I had to take off my jacket, necktie, and sweater. Thankfully, it all fit inside my backpack. There was also the noise. Something insect unknown to me, maybe some kind of cricket, was sounding off like an airplane, drowning out everything else. How does this not drive them insane? While waiting, I tried Akira's phone once again. I found out it was July 18th, Wednesday. I had also learned Akira wasn't either a Bradbury or Deux fan. I don't know. His password 0451 didn't work. Just 9,999 other combinations to try. Strangely, I wasn't worried about what I'd say to Kyoko. I don't know why. Maybe I'd exhausted my ability to worry for one day. Oops. Oh, that's how you say it. I'll do that in a second. Yeah, so maybe I'd exhausted my ability to worry for one day. I just felt that we'd easily find common ground. Confidence lasted right until I saw her slender figure step outside. Apparently she already noticed me and was heading straight over. That's when it started. The closer she got, the more doubts I had. What do I say? How do I say it? I couldn't just say, please walk me home. I mean, she could. Or I mean, I could, but she wouldn't understand. Try to picture the conversation. Oh, that's what she looks like. Without the jacket on. Kyoko, please walk me home. And she goes, you know, might be the worst attempt at flirting I've ever seen.
Stupid.
Kyoko, no, mate. Crap, I have to think of something else. She's so close. Think, use your head. What if... Wait, captivate her heart or drive her crazy? I kind of want to do the second one. Captivate her heart. Sure. Kyoko-san, I'm floored by your beauty. Like cherry blossoms floating under rays of moonlight. That's where my thoughts slow down a bit. How do I compare a girl to a falling leaf? I didn't want to stop. You're amazing. I don't think she'd expected that. Kyoko, you're the blood running through my veins. I can't be without you. I need you like a drowning man needs air. Like a flower needs the sun. Like a cat needs catnip. Kyoko, I'm suffering even right now. From happiness. So, could you walk me home? Looked right into her eyes. Time stood still as I waited for her reply. Finally she spoke. And she flashbanged me, damn it. But I didn't need to think so hard. Turned out to be pretty simple. Hey, sorry I'm late. That's okay. You said you needed to talk to me? I did. Can we do this on our way home? Much simpler. Hey, new background. I'm still screenshotting her. I don't know. I kind of like the way she looks. 5 minutes later, I was happily lying to her about my difficult life. I wasn't even that far from the truth. Serious concussion. Wait, a hematoma. Doctor said I could experience memory loss. Kyoko-san was looking at me shocked. He didn't seem to doubt me at all. So innocent. Bless her. I remember most things, but not everything. Would you believe it? I forgot my phone's passcode, so I can't unlock it. I also don't remember where I live. Kyoko stopped. Akira-kun, you're not joking, are you? No. Then why aren't you at the hospital, or your parents' place? Because I felt fine yesterday. I came back from the hospital and went to sleep, and I felt fine in the morning. Well, until I got off the train. As for my parents, I didn't want to worry them yesterday, and today I can't even call them. Should have talked to the professors. Oh, come on. I wanted to wait it out. It could all come back to me. I decided to talk to you because you said you could walk me home. So, you know where I live, right? You don't even remember that? How's she on about? What's that? Don't tell me we live together. Oh my god, that would be funny. While I was thinking how to answer, Kyoko seemed to take my silence as an answer. We're neighbors, Akira-kun. Oh, close enough.
Boy.
We walked to university together almost every day. What a twist. So that's why she was nearby. Shotto mate. Just neighbors? Nothing more? It's a relationship, we're not even friends. Meanwhile, she went on. Akira-kun, I really think you should go to the hospital. Just leave us alone, please. No, no hospitals. But Akira-kun, that's enough. If you want to help, do what I'm asking. Couldn't quite read her face. There was sadness, confusion, and fear. But she didn't argue. Alright, Akira-kun. That's all she said. We went on. Silently. Soon the silence bothered me. I even thought about saying I was sorry. I didn't want to, of course. I didn't say anything I'd be offended by, so why should I feel guilty? Common sense was telling me that perhaps I wasn't a universal emotional yardstick and Kyoko might not have been as thick-skinned as me. Perhaps her silence meant I crossed the line. After all, she simply expressed concern and I shouted at her. But it's not like I asked for her concern. Can't I get a break? Why are women so complicated? I had to stay on good terms with Kyoko. She was my only chance to go home. But she kept walking without saying a word. I got angry at myself. Hey, actually, yeah, you know what? I think I am going to end this here. I might record the rest of this, like, right after, just to see how long the demo is. But for now, I think I will end this part here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thus far, I do like this VN. This is only a demo, they said, so I don't know like how much longer it'll go on. But I think in the future, I might actually play the full thing, depending on how much it progresses in the demo. So yeah, with that said, let me know in the comments if you would also like me to play this, although I still might anyway, because nobody comments on my videos anymore. But yeah. In the top right corner of your screen, there will be an annotation to the next part once it becomes available, if I do play this again. So yeah. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.